Welcome back to an episode of Debates Never Die. I am your host, Khanya Mosetlhi. I'm joined by Lesiba Mohlala. I'm joined by Mvuyelwa, Nomvalo. Folks, thank you for joining me. I am speaking as an Arsenal fan for the first time, genuinely impressed by my team in the year 2025. I had complained many, many times in the past few episodes about Arsenal, and it's such an annoying thing to have to do when you complain about the lack of character, the lack of grit. As Troy Deeney once said, the lack of cojones. For the first time in a very long time, Arsenal went down 10 men, and they held it like they were a big side. I'm so grateful that we ended up winning that game. I'm renewed. In terms of long-term aspirations, I feel like we needed that kind of result going into what this weekend is going to be, Arsenal versus City. Mvu, how are you feeling, sir?
Nah, I'm calm. I'm ridiculed when I say things. That's what I've noticed. Yeah, when I say things, they happen. But in the moment, I'm told I'm reactionary. I'm biased. I'm all these things. I'm all these things. Some gents were even making up scenarios that never happened on our group chat, guys. Things that never happened. Never happened. But here we are. Performances matter, right? You knew we were going to win that game because we played well. Not because we were down to 10 men and everyone. No, we accounted for ourselves. So I'm in high spirits, bro. That's what you want. That's what we need.
So for context, for those who missed the last episode, Mvu has been dubbed Mr. Performance because he did not slander Barcelona when they went through their winless run, despite the fact that myself, Sheiks, and Tab Sol were surprised considering how he spoke about Arsenal before. For context, Barca won 7-1 against Valencia most recently. They've scored 12 goals in their past two games. So right now, Mvu's looking like a hit factory. Moving on, Mr. Mohlala, fresh of a 5-0 win, still top of the log, uh, undefeated in the Champions League, a perfect run. Really, it's been a really great week for you. How are you feeling, sir?
I feel good, man. I feel good. Excuse the smug demeanor, but yeah, no, we're doing really well. It was 4-1. I don't want to claim a 5 no, but yeah,
I
no,
thought it was five. I know it's five.
it seemed like it's a common mistake. We're doing very
Mm.
well, so wouldn't blame you for thinking that. Nah, I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling so good. I have nothing much to report on via my team. Just
Mm.
business as
No
usual.
notes, no Trent anxiety. That's all done. You're just thinking, let's win the
Oh,
league.
actually,
We'll see it from
I have
there.
one. The last
Yeah.
time we were all on the episode together, the last thing I wanted to say was Harvey Elliott. I'd like to see more of you. And in the 3 games since then, Harvey Elliott has been decisive in 2 of them. So the whole thing of this the most boring thing to end on or whatever. I appreciate the hands up, sir. I appreciate that dearly. I do. So
Okay. Harvey Elliott, look, I think it's just he doesn't feel like the star name in the Liverpool side. He's your academy project. I think maybe I was taking the piss because I didn't want to dap you guys up, and because he's actually a player I liked quite a lot when he first made his debut. I got carried away.
Kanye said
We
he was
get
gonna
things
bang
wrong.
more
We get
than
things
Haaland.
wrong.
No, he said he was gonna bang more than Haaland. That's what he said.
no. Idiots.
Kanye said that.
No,
Harvey Elliott.
no.
Oh, I
Mvu,
thought
you're complaining about false statements, and then you've come and you've
sorry,
done this.
sorry. No, no, no. Look,
Mvu,
look, look, look,
Mvu,
look, 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 look. I
Mvu.
apologize. Look, guys, my hands up. See. Sorry. I
Okay.
can see my penis all over the place. I thought we were talking
Uh,
about Darwin Nunes. My bad. My bad.
clearly.
No.
Look, and listen. Even though I was wrong about how well News would do, I'd like to think that the amount of chances he gets, you can kind of see what I saw. It's just he's never been able to get it all together. It's unfortunate, and a miss is a miss, right? But it's not as crazy as some United fans misses. I won't say the name. I won't say the name. He's from a
Oh,
certain country. But anyway, lads, this week in the Premier League, I think we've seen probably the most predictable set of results outside of one or two games. Obviously, what Bournemouth did to Forest, humbling, humbling stuff. Having watched the game though, I really do not think that as good as Bournemouth were, that they were so good that they were meant to be Forest by 5. Sorry. I think that more than anything, they took their chances, and once the momentum had swung, Forest just couldn't find their way back into it. But we must give our depths and our flowers to Iraola, and I want to use him to speak about what I think has been a point of debate we've had in the group for quite some time, is how players adapt to bigger teams. Obviously, we know Grealish didn't ever really make the transition in the same way. There's been lots of debate about how good Khanya might actually be, if he should be getting a move. Obviously, we've now seen City sign Marmoush, and he looks the part in my eyes. I don't think that there's going to be any teething issues in terms of his move. But when it comes to managers, how do you guys gauge ceilings? Because obviously Nuno was actually Spurs manager. I feel like that's been forgotten because of how bad and how short his stint actually was. But when he was doing at Wolves, he looked competent, even though football wasn't super expansive. There was a ceiling of sorts, but you couldn't really gauge, is it his players or is it just who he is as a manager? So first of all, how do you guys feel about Iraola? Right, he's 2 seasons into Prem. I think he's taken points off Arsenal. He's taken points off of Chelsea. And see me, correct me if I'm wrong. Has he taken points of Liverpool?
Bournemouth. I feel like did we draw it? No, we won. We won. With Forest.
Mm-hmm.
Though. That
Yes,
was a
yes,
good
yes.
This is why we love
But
we love that's why we love Saturdays. He has an opportunity to
to fix it. But yeah, I want to ask, how do you guys evaluate a manager's ceiling? Sibo, we'll start with you.
It's a great question because I do think that management is so closely related with personality that I think it's an uncomfortable conversation to have because it's an unquantifiable thing. Someone like Mourinho can have 2 stints at Chelsea and do very well, but go to Spurs and be like, "Oh, he was Spurs manager." But, oh, you know. Um, Someone like Ancelotti can win a gajillion Champions Leagues and at Everton do worse than David Moyes. So it's I think so tightly connected with this project being a good fit for the manager that I just want to get out the way that there is a qualitative aspect to it that I don't think has a blanket unit of measurement, right?
Mm,
But how I would judge the ceiling of a manager is if you can see that there is a good fit here, or even not a good fit, it's about what you are able to achieve in the first season. I look at first season stints very, very closely because even if you don't get the results, the trophies, or whatever, there is an intention, there's a style, there's a mood, there is a consistency that as a manager, I think that you should imprint on a team. And if you fail to do that, if you're looking for different things going forward every season, I don't know. I think ceiling is obviously very low, but if you can
mm,
imprint like what Iraola's done with Bournemouth,
mm.
a sense of confidence into your team,
Identity.
uh, identity, exactly. I think sky's the limit. So yeah, that's how I would see it.
Okay, okay. So, in your eyes, then, in a world where Ange does go, do you think Areola is a good move for Spurs?
No,
no.
no, I don't. No, I don't. Oh
He's
man,
above them.
I really hope
He's
Iraola does
above
not go. Yeah,
He's
yeah,
he's better
he's
than
better than
Spurs. He should aim
Yes,
higher
he
than
is.
that.
Yes, he is.
Okay, okay. So
Just
okay, so okay,
higher
so
like
what big job could you guys envision Iraola getting?
well, I guess that
she's at the
depends,
moment.
right? Is
No, like I'm saying, like is it the Champions League size, Europa League side? Spurs are currently they below Bournemouth, so it's not necessarily a step up in terms of league position.
I think he should take
yeah,
Bournemouth farther. I don't think he should move. Move to where and
Okay,
do what? I don't. That's me personally. I don't see a move being good for him right now.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Mbu, how do you make sense of managerial ceilings? What do you use as your metric?
again, probably a difficult question because it's not something that I've thought of. But uh, to labor on some of the points that Siva has brought forward, one for me, an important one that I've seen now is your ability to coach a defense. So
Mm,
whether that's a pressing style, um, or how you can set up at the back. It doesn't necessarily have to be low block if you play at the high line, but just your ability to make sure that your team can withstand some form of pressure. I think I think that's a good marker um, for the way that the game's going right now. Second is adaptability, and we've seen with Areola players dropping in and out of a team, and his idea of how his team should play doesn't change because of that. Um, but again, with that being said, he's adaptable. This is not just about players. He can set up differently when he's playing different teams. So I think how adaptable you are should be factored into where you think a manager can reach. And I think an important one for me is the ability to manage players and how quickly they can get their style and identity into the team. So, for instance, we maybe when we've looked at United's games recently, it took 2 games in, and with they didn't have many training sessions to see. Okay, there were 3 moves where they were trying to cut the ball back to I think like Bruno, Ericsson, or like there was I forgot what game it was. Um, it was before they played Liverpool in the league. Like yeah, just their first 2 games, but there was a play that happened on 3 or 4 occasions where you could see, oh, okay, you know, this is
I know I know what you mean. It was game against Ipswich, the Europa League game where they kept scoring early. The same kind of goal.
yeah,
Yeah, I
exactly,
remember that.
exactly. So that showed like this guy didn't. I think that shows maybe a manager can get a simple message across to players, and it's just about their ability to execute. But that was there. We didn't need
Yeah.
2 months to see that. You know, that'll only elevate or like just increase the ceiling that this manager uh, can can coach at or whatever that might be. I think a simple criteria like that
Yeah.
Yeah.
should be what you can judge it off of. But maybe one unsaid one is I don't know how prevalent it is now, but their ability to also manage big players. I mean, this is the issue that I had with
Yeah.
was Poch, the previous Man United managers when I argued with Tab when he was saying that United had honest players at the time, which he took back, but managers that aren't able to control egos are more likely not going to be able to coach at the highest level. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I guess
Okay.
that's not the only place, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, of
Actually,
course, of course.
I did want to say something on that about managing egos and stuff. Um, I do. I want to expand on that. What do you guys think of coaches who make players great? You know, like I think of Brendan Rodgers and Coutinho. He wasn't great or whatever. Or just elevate them rather. I think of what Gasperini did for Ilicic all of a sudden. I think of what Klopp did for Mane. I think of that thing of like, yeah, okay, you're a pretty good player, but under this coach or Ranieri and Jamie Vardy, like if you can deliver a system where you can just accelerate one player to the zenith of their potential, would you guys see that as a marker of a good coach as well? Because I mean, I think of Ancelotti as well. He's got Kaka, Vinny, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's got so many in his managerial career like that. Would you guys see that as a unit of measurement?
No, definitely. I think being able to maximize on your team just generally is the ultimate goal, right? You're hoping to extract the maximum from your best players. So if a player's best season comes under a certain coach, you look at that coach and say, okay, cool, there's something that you have that others clearly don't. So I think and it's annoying because of how his Arsenal stint went. But what Unai Emery does for strikers generally, really can't be ignored. More often than not, if a striker is about to make that jump from being like a mid tier to top level striker, it happens under Emery. Um, I think you can see it with Watkins. To a certain extent, you can see it with Ryan as well. Obviously, those were players who were talented, that they were highly talented for quite some time. But the fact that Watkins had the season he had last season is genuinely phenomenal. I can't imagine which other coach manages to bring that out of him the way that Emery did. He's the reason Villa finished top four. Right, Villa are still in the Champions League. It's likely that they will play round of 16 tie this year, and that is phenomenal. So yeah, I'm with you 100% there. I think the examples you mentioned, especially the Ancelotti one, what he did with DCL, I still believe there's a player there as a result. I haven't lost faith because of what I saw when Ancelotti managed Everton. Look,
Genuine.
he
That's
has
crazy.
issues. He has issues. I'm
You
not
saw.
saying I'm
That's
not saying I
crazy.
expect him to do it, but I will always acknowledge that there was something. When he retires, I'm not gonna toast DCL. I'm gonna say dog, but there was like
You
Everton
saw
have
the
been
goal he
managed
scored. Not this game, just now. The one before.
against Spurs.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mm.
There's a player, man. There is a
Yeah,
tasty player.
actually, Moyes and Fellaini. Moyes and Fellaini.
Mm,
There was,
Delaney.
yeah,
Who may? Oh, jeez. That Villa team 0809. Who am I thinking of?
opposition.
Um, Jeez, man. I wish I had more going in with this. But
You're
yeah, yeah,
dog.
the old school. Uh, Even like like Tony Pulis and Allardyce, those Oaks, man. They also had their own destruction boys, man. Like
Oh, Cameron Jerome and them.
that's what I'm talking about, man.
Yes,
He's
it's
lying.
Stoke. It's Stoke.
He's not talking about him. He's lying.
Pulis, I was, yes. Don't tell me like
But regardless, when we're talking about ceilings, the reason I bring it up is because, uh, given what you shared there, it was like you believe that Amrim can take United higher, right? The way it
Yeah.
started hasn't been glamorous. Unfortunately unable to join us for this episode, said first manager to have the opposite of new manager bounce. He says he's got new manager depression. And he also added, and this is what really shocked me. He says, all things considered, Amrim probably ain't the guy, and the vicious cycle continues. I disagree. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think it's so early into this run that Amrim coming to a team devoid of confidence, coming to a team devoid of any structure, really. They've had Ten Hag come in and lie his way to an FA Cup trophy that has made it seem like there might be more quality in the United side than there really is at this point. And he doesn't actually have a goal for the season. His goal is to just figure out exactly what the team is going to be. Like, there's no league position that he's aspiring to. I don't think he's thinking, your top six push. I don't think that's what United are doing. I think United are saying, let's take this week by week. Let's let the players show up and let me figure out who I can trust going forward. So yeah, I don't know how you guys feel, but I think any assessment on Amorim as not good enough or not being the guy to fix United, I think he is the guy. The only thing that's going to depend on is whether or not United back him recruitment wise. I think United's biggest issue, outside of with Ten Hag, because I think they should just fired him quite early. Um, but I think United's biggest issue has generally been that when they find a level of success with the coach, they haven't shown enough trust. I think that, and it's going to sound crazy, I think that you take it back as far as when Mourinho and Pogba were beefing. I don't think it was the right decision at the time to have backed Pogba over Mourinho. I think it sends a terrible message if you are willing to put players above the coach, just generally speaking, because the next coach then knows that I have to make sure that this guy's on side with me regardless. And granted, the club should protect its assets, but considering that Mourinho had finished second the season before, he was complaining about like recruitment, he was expecting certain things. The fact that Amorim has license to speak the way he's been speaking about Rashford, I think shows a stark contrast in what Mourinho was allowed to say about Pogba. And granted, Pogba and Rashford worlds apart in terms of talent, but in terms of what they mean to the club, in terms of what they're getting paid, the difference isn't that big, right? Like in terms of what United are right now, their best attacker is Rashford. United's best player at the time was Pogba. The fact that Mourinho got fired and they ended up having to get an interim and they ended up in that cycle, that even when they started to trust Ole, the fact that they eventually lost faith in him, and it was ultimately because he lost the dressing room when I think he needed even more backing. He had plans for other things and they didn't go all the way, and they went from again finishing second to finishing. I think they finished maybe eighth that season. I think United have constantly gone almost to the point of believing and then just not pushing the boat out all the way for their coaches. So yeah, I disagree wholeheartedly with Tab. Uh, Lesiba, I don't know how you feel about Tabani's statements and United started the season, started the season and Amarim.
You make some excellent points there, and definitely wants to contend with my own. But I absolutely agree with Tabani. I think United are in a dead spiral, and Amarim will not be the one to fix it. I'm not just saying it because I'm
Look, he's
a very
smiling.
obvious United hater. Sorry, I don't mean to. Because look, United's downfall makes me happy. I won't hide that. I'm being very open about that. But genuinely, I don't think Amarim is the guy to fix it. Not because he's not a good coach, but because United are a bad business, in my opinion. They're a big business, a massive business, and honestly, it's the whole the bigger you are, the harder you fall type of thing. United have just the most tremendous amount of problems in the entire club, in the entire business of Manchester United. It's so bad. This Ratcliffe stuff, the leaks, the rats, the figurative and literal. Um, all that stuff is not like background information. It's that's Manchester United. That's Manchester United. Also coming off of this humiliation, 12-year humiliation ritual they've just come from. It's yeah, it's horrible for them right now. I don't think Amarim has. He's too young, if that makes sense. He doesn't fit the club automatically that well enough that he will be a talismanic figure for this Manchester club. I'll take them by the bootstraps and I'll show them the way forward. Like it's not like that. This is an employee. To me, Eminem is a great coach, but he feels like an employee for Manchester United. Like cut and dry. So I don't think that he'll be the one to transform it, and I do think they need a talismanic figure in order to do that. Is that going to be difficult for them? Yes. Will I enjoy them fail and blunder their way through it? Absolutely. But my point stands that I agree with Tawani. It's above him. This is too big for Amarim.
Wow. But before I go to you, I have to ask, Siba, if if they aren't going to be led by a young, talented coach that has transformed two sides, he reinvigorated Sporting, and obviously Sporting aren't at the same level as United. Who should United have gone for? What were their options? Because the only other name in World Cup that I could have seen, and I doubt he would have gone there, is Inzaghi. I can't think of another coach that they could have gotten, and even then, he's also treated the back coach. I feel like the opposition that was met in the group was something that definitely would have existed at the time. Someone who's also rigid. I feel like they wouldn't have they still wouldn't have the personnel for Inzaghi to come either, right? I don't think that United had a better bet than someone like Amarim. So who would you have gone for? How would you fix this?
Um, I don't think that they made a mistake by hiring Amarim. He's probably the best bet that they had. But
But you're saying they're doomed regardless, then?
yes, because the answer to United's problems is not necessarily, in my view, in the world right now. I don't see anyone who could fix it. So
Oh
it's not a
wow.
thing of like, oh well, they went for Amarim, but they should have. No, they went for the best option. That's just how. That's just how fucked they are. They are so finished that there's no one who Ancelotti, Inzaghi, um, geez, I don't know, Ferguson as a caretaker 6 months. Nothing, nothing, no one. Honestly, God himself could try and manage Manchester United, and I think it'd be like Jesus. I don't know. I don't know what to say, what to do. They are structurally too damaged. They need to fix the football club and then worry about that. But I don't know.
Well,
I think
so if you
This
if you guys are
this
wondering, Seba does not think anything of note happened when United beat Fulham. He thinks you guys are
guy,
just
bro,
fortunate.
like
He's rubbed it
that is
all out. He said you guys are toast regardless. Doesn't even matter what happened
no,
this
just
past
like
week. He
what's
said
the
you guys are
Fulham game?
finished.
They suck. What? United
No, it
suck.
wasn't a look. It wasn't a good game,
No,
but I think
no.
United getting a result is that's all they actually need right now. Just points on the board, bro. It can't be that United genuinely, Toby. I think most United fans expected to lose yesterday. That's
yeah, but also
crazy. That's
Toby needs to stop this gimmick. This we're not monetized. He needs to stop this cock gimmick, bro. This one where everyone is just gonna beat him. It's like this ridiculous.
Oh
That's
my
just
goodness.
ridiculous. Like he doesn't believe in any games, but only when he plays Arsenal because he hates them. Like that, no man. Like let's be serious. Just back to this. I honestly thought Sibo was gonna say maybe Eddie Howe. I don't imagine that. Well, I could imagine that if Amram wasn't the guy, United definitely would have gone for Eddie Howe. Um, I think that would have been the next appointment that would make sense for where they currently were. I feel
Yeah.
like he's a manager that could handle the pressure, and obviously only time will tell. But you know, you need managers that have had this type of situation where they have to turn around the team. Like you said, Ruben Amram is someone that's done that before. Um, I think what stuffs them is that people mustn't forget. Okay, before I get to that, I think there is something to be said about the fact that United do look worse when they play some games than they did under Ten Hag, but that's not been a structural issue. That's been a personnel issue. Like some of those
Yeah.
players just suck. So there's nothing Amram can do about that. But he has to adapt, and I think yes, he can die by his sword, which is fine. But there's some games, bro, where he can be a bit more adaptable. I think because he's shown it in the bigger games. So why not do that for this one? Like United don't have to go steamroll past every small team that they play or whoever they think are a small team. Like yes, they can play the same way that they've played against Liverpool, City, Arsenal, against Bournemouth that smoked them. You know what I mean? You can play that way against some of those other teams. I guess it's difficult to for fans or anyone to accept that type of performance at Old Trafford. So I think
And
that's
every
that's
game
one
must be a miracle victory. Every game for United must be like they're the supreme underdog. They every game, I
no,
fuck, bro.
no, no. It's more about how they approach games defensively because
Against the
they're
likes of
even
Fulham.
even even in those games they were able to sustain attacks. Like they looked threatening. So both can coexist, in my opinion. But on the other side, United stuffed this guy up, bro. Like he should have come in the summer. Like why did they wait for Ten Hag to sign all of these players when they were already considering getting rid of him? Now they've signed all these players and they've brought this guy in, and they're not gonna give him anyone in the January window. Like they have to back him in the summer, and then I think that's the only time, well, not the only time, but I think that's when we can start having a more fair assessment of Amarim's
About
time
man.
at like I don't think it's been so. I think the team is just dead, like Siba said.
Yeah.
Like so that's just a fact. But I don't think the manager's been so poor in his approach to games that they should be already saying we don't think he's the guy to like. This
Yeah.
was always he told everyone, guys, it's gonna be
It's
like
it's
hell.
gonna get crazy.
He told them. He said buckle up, bro, buckle up. Like so these are just growing pains, and they must enjoy the ride.
Okay. No, very balanced, very balanced. Before we
I'm
leave,
glad you said. I know we're gonna leave this quickly, but I do want to say I'm glad you said growing pains because I did say when we spoke about United before. Oh, I love speaking about United, but anyway, when we spoke about it before, I said that what they need, what do United need? What is the thing that they need? I said patience. Only time can save Manchester United. That's the only thing. They just need to hold on, keep their head above water, don't get relegated, and like before that was like a dig, a couple of years ago. Like, now don't get relegated, boys. It's hard. It's hard out there. Ah, watch out.
so speaking of managerial ceilings, there's a certain coach, dedicated D&D listeners will remember this. Episode 1 of this season, I told you, Ange Postecoglu is going to get sacked. I can't claim the hit yet, but the clock is ticking. Lads, Ange came to the Prem. He was the flavor of the month. Mate, the lovely Australian accent.
Great.
Oaks was so excited. Yo, this guy doesn't care about defending. What a gift. So exciting. Like, look, as a neutral, there were quite a few Tottenham games I looked at and I said, no, these guys are actually really fun to watch. They signed James Madison, who I always had a soft spot for. I can't deny that. I was interested, but of course, when we had the first conversation after Northern and Derby, I said I don't think they're that good, like holistically. I am clearing my head actually. This is my victory lap right now. It's happening as we speak. But I would like to ask you guys, in terms of what's happening in Spurs, how do you guys make sense of it? The way I see it is it's a combination of both the coach being inflexible, right? Like, granted, he has injuries. He has an injury list from hell. It's not a
Yeah,
normal or a super salvageable situation, right? They are going to drop points. They are going to struggle right now. They don't have their first choice
yeah.
goalkeeper. They've had to sign a super young goalkeeper. They are not doing things, and they're not set up in a way that is conducive. There's no way that Spurs are going to make top four with this injury list. That's a fact. But I will also say that their recruitment, and I don't know how much of a say Ange has, but whoever signed off on 65 billion for Dominic Solanke has blood on their hands. Not because Solanke is not a good footballer, but because with where Spurs were, that was not what they needed to do next. The fact that Spurs did not sign a competent 1v1 left wing, and like the fact that they don't have another option, the fact that that Spurs team is still relying on Son to put in those shifts when last season he was their nine. I feel like I feel like they betrayed themselves. I feel like Spurs didn't make a move this window. They just signed young players loosely and just said, yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe one of these guys is going to be really good. That's legitimately what it felt like. Um, and
I heard something today as well where they said I don't know if I was listening to like one of the things on Sky Sports, but they only have three centre backs. Like, you know how
in the entire
ridiculous.
squad,
You know how and the way he plays and the way Van der Ven's hamstrings are set up, like you have no backup.
dude,
Ben Davies, nah.
dude, yeah, like on some level, we have to blame the Spurs hierarchy, right? I think they will forever be questionable. We've spoken about it many times, but the fact that Mourinho got sacked before the Carabao Cup final, that can't be erased until the people that were involved in that decision are gone. I think anything Spurs do, you gotta look at it and be like, it's because it's those guys. Um, I do also think though that there is a role that Ange plays. I think his lack of emphasis on defending generally is the reason Spurs are where they're at. I think when you end up with this many injuries, you need to adapt to be this super exciting side. It's a really great thing when you have everyone there, but we've spoken about this when it comes to hitter, like you need to be able to find other options, other ways of doing this. If you can only do it this one super specific way, then you are inevitably inevitably going to face some kind of challenge when teams figure out how to play against you. Because it's not like Spurs suddenly got bad; they got bad towards the end of last season as well. They didn't finish top four last season because of Ange's general failings. They weren't in the top four even before the injuries. They weren't having a great season before that in any case. They were around, but those issues have been showing themselves. And I guess my real question is, depending on how you attribute the blame, whether it's the recruitment or everything else, what's Ange's ceiling? How good is he really? And do you think Ange should be staying at Spurs, or do you think it's time to move on? Vu, let's hear you.
Look, it is gonna sound crazy because of the way they're going now, and like you said, we hate how stubborn he is. But he he is like a Spurs manager, and I don't mean that in an insulting way. Like I'm not here taking a jab at Spurs saying that they're this or that. It's just that the type of football they play, Spurs are known for that, like exciting, football, um, just entertaining, and he's that type of manager. Now, I think he's a Spurs man. He can remain a Spurs manager if he can just be freaking adaptable. But he's so stuck in his ways that that's gonna get in the way of him being there long term. So I don't know how many other managers I think could go and do well at Spurs at this moment in time. Maybe they need Daesh right now, They need to survive. They need they need to survive. So maybe that's Spurs truth right now. But I think if you could just take away how stubborn he is, I genuinely think that he is a Spurs manager. I don't know how else to say it. I don't see him going
I,
to top
I,
four.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah,
This would be his apex. It's just about whether or not
exactly,
Spurs can match him in terms of what he's trying to do with them.
exactly. And we saw that in Spurs last season, but the signs were there that okay, bro, this high line cannot always be the thing.
Mm,
Why in the hell is he just so persistent on it then?
mm,
Like he's losing defenders and he's still not deciding to maybe set his line of just even 10 meters back. It's not that far, you know?
mm.
So I don't see who they get in now that will steer the ship, but his seeding is the Spurs, if I'm being quite honest. I don't see where else
Okay.
he vies and he has yeah, no. He can go back to Celtic.
I'm pretty sure Brendan's back there. Mr. Mohlala, how do you feel about Spurs and Ange in general? Do you have some sympathy for him? Where do you land?
I do have sympathy for him because I was charmed by his Australian accent. I'll admit it. The whole mates thing that got me. That PR got me. He seemed like a man of the people. But I agree with him. Spurs is his. That's his big time. That's his big time. That was your shot at the big leagues, and this is what you do. Thanks for the memories, mate. But anyway, I think that Spurs struggle with status. I think Arsenal makes Spurs feel very insecure. Uh, I'm conservatively saying Spurs have been a top-heavy side for the past 10 years, and they've managed to do some pretty cool things. They went to a Champions League final and everything, but they've like really just not been super keen on recruiting defensive options for a very long time. They are so stressed about not winning anything that they will pour everything into signing a gung ho attack that will win them something. Please, I beg, score 200 goals in a season so we can just win a Carabao Cup or something. Like, come on, gents. But they don't want to admit that. Look, it's the long hard yards. Build up a defense. Get the scrappy 1-0s. Then you can win a cup. Spurs
Mm,
struggle with status. Just accept you're not the big dog. Like, just
mm,
just do your part, wait your turn, and then you'll win something. But this thing of nah, we've got cash, we're a London club, have you seen our stadium? It's not working, man.
mm.
So I think that Ange is totally wrong for Spurs, and I also like that suggestion that we made. Daesh, I, I'm unironically saying that would work very well, very well for Spurs if they
Yes.
sign that.
So you're saying Daish's ceiling is higher than the clubs he's gotten before now. He deserves a chance at a larger side, a real team.
No. It's not that he deserves. It's just that Spurs. It's a match made in heaven. It's a chemistry in the most perfect timing. That like, dude, Daesh, you're not a really good manager, but geez, we need you, man. We need you. We supposed to have a very not say very good team. Supposed to have a very functional team.
Mm,
Like do something with that team. But Daesh is the manager you need for that next window. Sign a couple of defenders. Get rid of Kulusevski or something. I know, sorry, but that's big money. Do something like that. Son will give you all the roids that you need. And then one last push. I think they could win a cup. I'm not even kidding. I genuinely think they could do it. Tom Solanke, hoof it up to the big man up top. Something. Change the football, man. You guys are not Barcelona. Yo, I suppose annoy me, man. So
I
that's my thoughts on it.
I actually think I have the answer. If
let's hear
Spurs were not in this position, Potter would have been a good appointment for them. But they're just so toast now that
Mm,
I don't know if he could make sure that they survive. I mean, an 8 point gap to the bottom is quite big because the teams at the bottom are not gonna go on these runs where they just win five in a row or something crazy, right? But
mm,
they weren't as toast as they are now. Potter, instead of
mm.
instead of him being at West Ham, would have been a good move. Plays the
It's
same
just West
exciting
Ham are kind of
football.
the same boat.
But I wouldn't say as exciting. I'm like Pudzik can coach a boring team, eh?
Look, not as exciting.
But he
I
can defend. He
agree.
can defend. He can defend.
Yeah,
Potter values
exactly.
defense.
There's a
Yeah,
balance. There's a balance.
yeah, yeah. Okay, now I can hear that. I can hear that. No. So in terms of ceilings, so Spurs were saying they're toast. That's a bit of a
I
shame.
hope they get
Uh,
relegated.
Ch-
I hope
it
they
would
get
be a
relegated.
dream. It would be a dream. It would be a dream. But there is one more team we need to discuss. Of course, we watched, at least I watched, the first Uzbekistani defender I've ever seen in the Premier League, and he had a less than glamorous debut. He's 20 years old. I am 8 years older than that guy. If he just turned 20, or at least 7, so I'm not gonna toast him too much. I don't know. I don't know why they signed him. First of all, I think 40M from Ligue 1 when you have less than 3 full seasons under your belt is insane. Um, I don't know what kind of setup that was that he was meant to play in that game and be a guy. Yeah, he marched in the first 5 minutes, which is out of this world. But we watched City win what I thought was an incredibly uninspiring way. They were just so much better than Chelsea. I think if City had just started John Stones, then they might have just won 3-0, maybe 4-0. All the talk about Chelsea not being title contenders, they have really lived up to that. Because, wow, um, they might not finish top 4 now. Um, Enzo Maresca, what is he? Has he had a good season? Really? Like at this point in time, like I feel like he just inherited the fact that Poch got these bunch of these strangers together, and he's taken it, and I don't know if he's taken it forward because Poch got to a cup final. He was very unlucky to lose to City in the FA Cup. I want to say quarterfinal as well. I don't think Chelsea have improved this season. I think there's obviously talent in that squad, but when you talk about a coach who apparently did amazingly for Leicester in the Championship, I have questions, man. I have questions. I don't know how to evaluate that guy. How do you guys feel?
Yeah,
Siba, we'll start
nah,
with you. What do you think about Mariska? Because your boy Slot, he had tons of praise for Chelsea. I don't know why he did that. I feel like that was just a way to get back at Arsenal. But let's hear you.
No, okay, wait. Actually, I want to comment on that comment first. I think I've realized people who are inside are too inside. They, I've never seen. I hardly see managers talking about other teams and other managers in a way that the general discourse speaks about them and the teams. Like they're too inside. They're too inside football. I don't know why Slot was talking like that. Anyway, what I do think of Maresca is that I get very big Roberto Di Matteo vibes from him. Like I
ha
uh, I
ha.
I don't I like you're obviously not bad, but like what are you doing? I don't what are
Wow.
you doing? Like what's going on? Um Chelsea are not having a bad season. I don't know if they're having a good season. Cole Palmer's been pretty cool. As Enzo, Nico Jackson, Sanchez still sucks, right? I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
No,
I
no, no.
can't.
Sanchez does still suck. Alan's goal is entirely on him.
Yo, like I don't know. That guy is finished, man. Anyway, I think Maresca is a very hard coach to judge because I can't see what he's doing. That's my honest answer. I can't see what he's doing. Um, but he's
Mm,
obviously not bad.
mm,
Um, yeah, Di Matteo.
yeah. So obviously we watched that City game, and I want to talk about Chelsea, the Chelsea element of it too much. We watched City win that game shortly after they got ravaged by PSG. At this point in time, right? We know City are rebuilding. We know that there is one more year of Pep after this. What do we make of them now? What like where to from here? Are you guys optimistic? Do you guys think that there's a level of coherence? Because I'm looking at City right now. For the first, they look like the side that Pep inherited. They look disjointed. They look old. They look like a team that like are just going to become a top 4 team again, or maybe not top 4, but like top 3. Like they're going to be in and around. But I think that the gap that has existed like with City and the rest, I think it's done. I think unless City have like this extraordinary transfer window in June July, I actually think that they're gonna be like a very regular team again, like a team that can get to 75 to 84 points. Like in certain seasons that can still win you a title. I don't think they're gonna fade away entirely, but the 100-point days, I think are done. I don't know if maybe I'm being too reactionary in this very very bad season for them, but the way they lost to that PSG, like they look normal. They look like just guys. Like all of the aura, the idea of City as a juggernaut, it's faded. And I say this because I'm putting my nuts on the table. Arsenal gonna beat those guys 3-0 this coming weekend. We're gonna handle them if we're a serious side. If we're
Hold on.
ready for anything,
Don't say if
we
now.
are going in. No,
Don't
no.
say
My point. No, I'm not saying if as in like to give myself the cover.
No, no,
I'm
please
saying
don't be
that's what I expect.
please be
That's what I'm
specific.
expecting. I'm saying let's show them that we are those guys. I want to hear about no OD. I don't care. I don't care.
Wow.
The intensity that those guys play at versus what I've seen from us. Granted, performance levels have not always been that good, but what this weekend was for me was a correction of a result we should have gotten against City at the Etihad. Yes, we were down to 10 men, but a serious team wins that game. You don't concede in the last minute.
Who plays
And I
left back?
think for Arsenal,
When you win 3-0, who plays left back?
Calafiori, the guy who scored the winner, you didn't see him?
No, I saw him. I saw him.
So then,
3-0.
he scored against City at the Etihad as well. Maybe I'll send you the clip. Maybe you've forgotten.
No, 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 no. Whoa, 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 whoa.
No,
Whoa.
I'm trying to help. I'm just trying to help. Trying to jog your memory. That's all it is.
Okay. Cool, cool, cool.
But yeah, like the city fear fact that it's gone for me. And Vu, I don't know where you land on this. How are you feeling going into this weekend?
I'm not endorsing this 3-0 chat. This 3-0 chat. No.
Thank you. Thank you.
Like
Thank you.
no.
The,
Like if it
voice raises
happens,
that.
shout out to you. But do not put me in the same conversation as Khanya right now.
Wow.
You see this guy, when he gets gassed,
I
he
mean,
gets really, really,
he's scoring
really
with
gassed.
Calafiori
Like
at left
there's
back. Like,
there's
when?
no in between.
When
Is
did
it?
that
Just saying,
happen? When
yeah,
did that happen? Aye. I mean,
bro.
oh, jeez. Gee whiz. I don't know. Kanye
Look,
watches different balls. I don't know.
City have just been toast this season. Like, yes, they're coming to the end of a cycle. I I don't know how it's gone under the like. No one has said anything about their club captain leaving when they're having their worst season in the middle of the season. Because that's just bullshit. Like, if that was any other team or any other player, like no.
I
Um,
think I think his personal troubles made it necessary. The Mirror can't write about you every 2 weeks and I stay, dog. I'd be tired also. It can't be everyone knows about my kids, bro. That mentally, I'm sure I can't play really like this. It
This
can't.
is
Also, the
this
fans.
is oh,
You know how English fans are. Every week he's hearing it, bro. He had to leave. Rather he hears it in Italian. Rather he doesn't understand.
but I don't know if with these troubles and his discipline, I don't know if going to Milan is the best idea because there's more of there's more of those things that side than there is
oh.
in Manchester.
I feel
He's
like it was a
finished.
motivating factor for
Oh,
him.
he's
He said, "Hey,
finished,
man,
bro. He's not gonna
oh,
believe his eyes when he's there. He's just it's gonna be crazy. but yeah, like bro, City have just been average, and yes, they're coming to the end of a cycle. Like I think that's quite evident, right? Um, I don't think maybe for the maybe next season. I think what you're saying will be fine. Well, will come to light that they will be there or thereabouts. But I think if Pep stays longer than just the 1 year, I I have faith in him and like what I've seen from him that I think they'll be back to where they need to be. Because I mean, De Bruyne is not going to be there, so there's no way he's not signing someone. Just no way. Um, Walker's gone
who?"
now. Like Stones, whoever he wants. I don't know. He like, it could be anyone. City find players. Like
Florian Wirtz.
I want him at the carpet. I
I
don't want
keep
him there.
hearing that. I
I
don't
want him
believe
to
it.
come to us now.
I don't believe. I think Versus is going to Bayern, but yeah, I don't. I just yeah.
That
I
would
ideologically
suck
don't. I
so
don't want him
much.
maybe. I want Versus. I want Versus to go to Bayern. I want him.
I think there's
Um,
space for them at the Emirates. I think I think that should be our next 10 signing. Or um if we can play with two, you know. Ethan behind if Arteta's not gonna trust.
I like the way you're dreaming right now. I'm crazy for thinking about a 3-0 win. This man's dreaming about Florian Birds. I like that, dog. I like that. That's good. That's good. You see the spirits. Spirits are high. Also are imagining players from faraway
Oh,
lands.
hey, bro.
Where I will agree with you though, if we are a serious team, we need to go win. Like no,
Mm,
there's no, like I said, like I've said so many times before, no one's gonna wait for us. So just
mm,
go do your job, go beat these guys, and that I don't want to hear anything else. And they must play with that intensity. If we just like you said, if we take the game to the teams have been doing it. I do think that they'll
mm.
be more up for this game though. Like they don't like us for
Yeah.
whatever that they have. So there's no way that they're also not gonna account for themselves. But yeah, a serious team makes a statement.
No, and that's all I'm really calling for. The 3-0, I'm just picking out that out the sky. Also need to show up in that game though. I think that much is clear. To end the season and we ended without having beaten City, I think would be a very concerning thing, right? Because everybody eating right now. Any serious team, any team with balls, goes to City and you give them a game. You take something from them. Brentford came back from 2-0 down and snatched something from City. You can't go there afraid right now. This isn't the time for that. I think the teams that have played them that have been brave have been rewarded for it, and I think it's time that we see that from Arsenal. It's great to be cautious. It's great to manage games, and I'd always appreciate that. Arsenal are very unlikely to ever be on the wrong end of a hiding under Arteta. I think that's been his one great gift to us as Arsenal fans. When we used to get thrashed in big games quite a lot in Wenger's later years, the fact that that's been removed as a thing, despite that one game where we got that bullshit Xhaka red card. But generally speaking, teams can't play us and take us to the top like that. They can't be giving us apologies. Like, Oaks aren't going to make 8-2 jokes. That's not going to happen. But what we need to see now is a version of Arsenal where the other team, and big teams we're talking about, are afraid to play us. Chelsea don't count. We've thrashed them. Yeah, that's not a team I worry about in this day and age. But yeah, I'm optimistic, man. I'm optimistic. Siba, how do you feel about Arsenal City this weekend?
Can I just say one more thing before we
Yeah,
get
I
to
did
Steve?
think.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
As long as Mourinho doesn't start, and as long as Ethan starts, as long as Noneri starts, if I see Mourinho on the pitch, trust me,
I
trust me.
have never regretted listening to Mvu more than I just did. Siba, you were gonna say.
No, no, no. He's speaking facts, and I think you both know that's what's coming. But anyway, I think Arsenal win. I think Arsenal. I mean, come on. City are gaining a bit of confidence right now. Um, I just, I don't see it. I don't see City not scoring. I don't see Haaland not scoring.
Mm,
I think Haaland will score, and he will. It's gonna. It's a tougher battle than I think we're giving it credit for.
mm,
Whether we like it or not, City and Arsenal have a rivalry now. You know,
mm.
it's a strange one for sure, but it's definitely there. There's the stay humble air thing has been pervasive throughout. That was a one sentence thing. It's been pervasive throughout the season. So this is a big clash, and it's more than just the football, more than just form. It's emotional. It's emotional. Um, to beat Chelsea 3-1, they've got the win in their sails. I don't think it's going to be a easy dub for Arsenal, but Arsenal, as you've said, Khanya, are defensively sound enough. I mean, City shouldn't be able to pierce you guys that easily. But in the events where you guys are studious about your defense, um, I think the attack will suffer a bit. This is a game that needed Saka. Yo, it needed the
Yeah.
confidence of Saka up top. It needed that thing, but to see what happens. Jeez, I don't even. Okay, so how does it go now? Who's the front line for Arsenal? It's Martinelli, Kai Havertz, and Trossard.
It- it- don't
Ethan.
don't worry. No, Neri has a plan for us, guys. He has a plan for us.
Okay, I just
Trust
want to
me.
say as well
Arteta must just trust
that
him,
is a
bro.
concerning thing to say. Nwaneri, the debutant, has a plan for us. Is I don't know what to tell
Nah,
you. That's
you will see. You will see. That's a player for the future, bro. You'll see. I don't need to say
for the
much.
future. This game is this weekend, boss. This is I don't know
And
about.
and and
And this and Mvu's saying this is where he stakes his claim.
Yeah,
You were talking about Harvey Elliott. Mvu's saying Ethan got next, brother. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We got this. We got this.
I think you guys should be more worried than you are. I think you guys are too lax about this. City have
no, no,
actually
no, 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 no.
most
I am not in the
most.
same boat as Kanya. All I said is I trust in Ethan. Please, please do not. You see, we're being grouped right now. We are being grouped right now. No,
Okay, so do you fear Mamush? Let me ask you that. Actually, the both of you, because Khanya has been most vocal about his praises. Do you fear Mamush at where are you guys? The Etihad.
It's
no,
at the Emirates.
Do you fear Mamush at the Emirates?
no. I haven't seen enough of him to be.
I won't lie. I do think he's bagging though.
He's cold, but I will say he's cold. He's very cold. He's very cold.
I am nervous about him bagging. I can't pretend. I'm more nervous about Mamouche than I am about Haaland.
Mm, mm.
If they play
Who's
both of
watching
them on
Mamush?
top, then that's going to be interesting, though. That's going to be interesting.
You see, if they hit that 4-4-2 diamond, oh, buddy, it can get very, very, very bad for you guys. It can be a long night.
Enough harboring of doom. Thank you for your takes, gentlemen. Um, as we draw to the close of this episode, I think we must highlight one game a week Conte. I feel like this is Napoli's title, lads. Oh no, I think the fact that they even in the title race with what they were like last season deserves so much credit. Their first league game with Kvaratskhelia having left, and they win 2-1 against Juve. Granted, Juve are not what they should be right now. But that being said, they are the first team to have actually beaten Juve in the league this season. The run of draws is finally over. I must give flowers where they due. I am so impressed by the fact that Conte continues to do this. It's a skill. If he never does anything in a European competition, I will not judge him because I saw what happened when he had his way. When Conte has time on the training pitch, there aren't a lot of coaches that can fight that man. You gotta talk about ceilings. You'll never win a Champions League, but you probably win the league if you have one game
Yeah,
week Conte.
yeah, nah, you.
Yeah, but you're
Big Scott,
already
Big Scott.
saying Inter's not going to do anything. Like, they're 3 points behind with the game in hand.
Oh no. Dude, you know how I feel about Inzaghi at this point. I can't keep talking about him. I can't glaze my rival like this. I think that Inter are still in it, but crucially, at the same time as as Arsenal versus City, we have Milan versus Inter, and we've just seen Sergio Conceição beat Mr. Inzaghi, and I'm tipping him to do it again. So it'll be tight. It'll be tight. I don't think that. I reckon Syria will probably be the only title that goes down to the last day. I think everything else will be decided before then, one way or another. So yeah, what that says about La Liga, Mvu, you're gonna have to wait and see, brother. But you know
No,
where I stand.
I'm okay with that, bro. It's more surprising that you've said this and your team's playing the reigning champions this past weekend. So I didn't know that you gave up with Arsenal, but I understand now.
I think I'm just at a point where I needed to see something in this window. Like we needed to bolster. We needed something else. Needed something else. Um,
That's
I can't look at
Fabian goes down like who's playing up top for us, bro?
you see. Yeah, like we're just too close to disaster for me to believe meaningfully now. Like it's just like we if he can just bro if he can just stub his toe very badly. If there's anything that will just slightly if he can just break his thumb, dislocate his thumb, and get something like just something young. Doesn't have to be like a 6 month injury for it to be like okay. So who plays now? It's what Martinelli has a 9. Sterling as a 9 or
It
Trossard.
should be. It should be Martinelli, but it'll be Trossard.
It'll be Trossard.
And I promise you, there's no chance in hell Arsenal win the league with Trossard leading the line. I don't think even the most optimistic Arsenal fan believes that's possible. And it's not even a Trossard thing. It's just like the standard of like world footy, bro. Like, let's be honest. Let's just be honest. What are we talking about? But yeah, that's me. I've said I've had all my chops. Shout out Mbappe, first hat trick for Real Madrid. Long overdue. Um, I'm really enjoying what he's looking like right now, Paul. Very excited to see. Very excited to see how he goes into the second half of the season. A bit concerned that he seems to work really well with Rodrigo on the left, and it's going to be Vinny on the left. It's not even that Vinny and him don't work well together, but I feel like him and Rodrigo's synergy is a lot more natural. But maybe it's just because of like when his form is coming to gear. Maybe I'm just being biased. I would like to think that he'll be fine and it'll all work as it should be. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Just please do us a favor and just put that message on the group, just to see,
I also
what
wanna see what happens.
some Madrid fans think
Put what message on the group?
about Rodrigo.
That I'm
and
nervous about
Mbappe.
Vinny and Mbappe. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing. He'll watch the episode. I don't have time to argue with Rendai in 2025. I've started this year off so well. I've had no nonsense arguments, bro. Like I'm free of certain things. Like I can't go against. He'll watch and he'll be upset on his own. It won't be my business. I must make my life simple. But yes, lads,
He's gonna be sacrificed. I really do feel like he's going to Saudi in the next.
Rodrigo, it's such a shame, but he
No,
definitely is.
no.
Vinny,
I think it's gonna be Vinny.
sacrificed
Vinny.
how? Like
It's gonna
sold
be yeah,
to who?
yeah. Saudi, some rich bugger in Saudi. So yeah, he's 200 M.
If you was any nationality besides Brazilian, I believe you. I wouldn't believe you.
And that's the thing about it. I'm starting to hear. Actually, no, it's fine. It's fine. Let me not harbinge any more doom on Madrid. Hello, Madrid, man. We're gonna be okay.
Okay, lads. As about to wrap up, any final remarks? Mvu, anything, Mr. Performance Man.
Yamal's Ballon d'Or charge still on the way, bro. Within the next 2 seasons. Let me not even make it long term. The next 2 seasons.
When you say charge, are you saying he'll lift it or he'll be like top three? Like, let's be clear.
Top three.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, at
I
least.
can buy it.
Okay. Siba, anything from you?
Kvaratskhelia, your career is officially over, mate. Thanks. I really did enjoy, but thank you for everything. You get one of these. Thanks. I'm done. I've clocked out. Thank you. That's me.
And then on my side, I'd just like to point out Bradley Barcola under the lights. I hope you are watching. 90 believers. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Debates Never Die. It has been a wonderful time, lads. Thank you for joining me. We're out.